Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Dream Warrior Review, Episode 6. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Miq Strawn.
We just saw a movie about a college girl who is stuck in an endless loop, experiencing her death over and over again.
Happy Death Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I couldn't remember the name of the movie. I kept saying the birthday movie. I don't know, some stupid name.
Yes, but that's because you're a fool.
So that's my first problem with this movie was the name.
The name, Happy
I have other
Death
problems,
Day.
but that's the main one.
What are the other problems that you have with it? That was an excellent film.
Where do I start?
I mean, it was incredibly cliched. It was a copy of every
That was my problem.
repetition. Well, yeah, but
Not just that.
everything's a competition, you know? I mean, the Greeks only said that there were only like 50 original plots, and that was one of them.
Well, let me start with, just logic. Let's talk about logic.
No, let's not talk about logic. It's a horror film. Are you an idiot?
So, for example, I'm glad she didn't survive at one point because she basically broke some laws and did something horrible, and she probably would have ended up in jail in a reality situation.
Yeah, so didn't you know that she was going to have to kill herself then?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you know, the thing is those little moments when that hits you before it happens, those are glorious in horror films. You know? That's what they're made for. They're made for you finding the tropes.
I guess you want people to be stupid too, because that's what makes a horror movie good. Is people acting stupid and doing stupid things. Like the second day, I probably would have just been in my car driving somewhere else. Exactly,
you would, and you would have been alone, and you should be alone.
Would have changed my name, just been somewhere else. The first day would have freaked me out.
I'm just alone.
The first day would have totally freaked me out. I would just be like, okay.
Yeah, that would have been it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of here.
But she hung out.
Well, isn't that what horror films require? Horror films require that you ignore the running car and head towards the chainsaws.
It's like that horrible commercial.
Exactly. He's looking at the kids like, you are the dumbest things in the world, and they are the kids that make up horror films.
Right, exactly.
You know? So, you know who walks towards the really scary things? There's just two kinds of people. There's first responders and people in horror films. You never thought about that, did you?
No, not until now. There was a missed opportunity, some really good gore. I don't know if I don't ruin the scene for people, but when she jumped.
This brings up the point that I thought was excellent about this film.
Okay.
It was just like it, to a certain extent, was not so heavy on the gore that it kind of brought more of a mainstream thing into it. And I think that this dovetailed and just followed it.
You don't think
perfectly.
It had a TV feel? Kind of like it was not really a movie. It felt more like a TV movie to me. Like
yeah, but I thought it was clever. I thought thought that they stuck closely to the or not closely, but they stuck loosely to the repetition idea, and in terms of it, kind of turned it on its head a couple of times, which I really appreciated. I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, they were doing some clever little.
Yeah, well, I have to say, going in, I thought it was just going to be like a Groundhog's Day turned into a horror movie that would have been kind of bad.
Yeah, but
I like how they did it. They made it interesting by kind of going through it quickly, I think.
Yeah, and then throwing some humor into it as it went along. And I think that there was a character arc for the girl in it that was really well drawn. I mean, because not only
she was a bitch, yeah,
but not only was she a bitch, they had this angular thing happening to her at the very beginning. And then by the end of it, they changed her makeup and they changed everything. They actually changed her complete look to a softer, rounder kind of feel to it.
Which they did that when she was wearing the same outfit through the whole thing, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, and actually, I actually found myself liking her, whereas I actively disliked her at the beginning.
Well, of course, that's what they wanted.
I know, that's what they wanted.
But it's hard to follow a character that you hate and actually root for.
Yeah, it's hard to do. The thing is it is really hard to do. It's I am one of the first people that just turns around, doesn't like the person at the beginning, and then doesn't like them in the end either. You know,
right? Yeah.
But I thought that it turned me around on the girl.
So here's a question. It's more of a logistical question, I guess.
Okay.
So one thing I noticed is whenever the killer appeared,
right,
you hear like a sound, boom.
Yeah.
And then he appeared. Like it was almost like it wasn't like Scream, you know, where like all of a sudden there's a guy with a mask and you hear a noise.
Exactly.
You hear the noise and then you hear it happened more than once. I noticed.
It had a Pavlovian kind of thing going.
And was it because she was expecting it maybe? Like, I don't know.
It's, they did play quite a bit with sound in there. I don't think it was a very experienced sound.
I swear I heard whales. I thought I heard
whales.
No,
there were whales. I mean, that whole marching band.
The parking garage, I heard whales and marching bands.
Yeah, it was a little strong. But at the same time.
Then again, if you're in a parking garage and you hear whales and marching bands.
Exactly.
You're probably going to run really fast. I would.
Yeah. I think you better get that crap out of there. And if you start hearing musical cues,
I want to bring up the fake prop. So
which fake prop?
I'll just say it. The axe.
Oh, the axe. Oh my god.
Why couldn't? Yeah. Okay, this little girl. Maybe she's a 120-pound blonde girl, but I think she could have carried a real axe just for the 10 feet she carried it, and then she dropped it. Or is that maybe?
You mean with the head wobbling?
Maybe they didn't want her to hurt herself with it or something.
Well, yeah, it was kind of weird when she breaks the glass.
Yes.
And reaches in, and the head of the axe is wobbling. Yeah, that was hard. Yeah. And also the fact that she could reach in and pick up a full axe with one hand,
right,
without any problem whatsoever.
Which I think it would have added to the drama if she actually picked up a real axe, because she would have been like,
oh definitely, it was a definite prop mistake. There's no doubt about that. Did you notice that her father was the whitest human being that's ever existed on the face of the earth? So
that's another. Okay, this goes back to those characters that were in. I think it was Friend Request, where the cops were probably relatives of the director, or was it the one with the cops?
Oh yeah, one of the cops.
So I think this had to be a relative of somebody, or somebody that they owed money to.
It really
producer.
I think he was. I think he must have had at least $100,000 in the film.
We have to look into that.
I mean, we'll look into it. Okay,
he was a producer and an actor. Anyway, so no, it sounds like I hated the film, but I did have my issues with it because I just think it could have been, some things could have been done better.
I really liked it. I think that
I personally would have liked more gore or more. Yeah. And she was killed the same way every time. It was always a stabbing.
Yeah, but I could definitely see what they were trying to do. They were definitely trying to move into a more inclusive audience as to a just pure gore audience,
like Scream. I kept thinking Scream Queens.
Absolutely, Scream Queens. Oh yeah.
So I think that's the right audience.
I think that's prevalent. That's where we're at today.
Okay, one more thing. It just popped in my head.
Oh, just another one. Okay.
In a post 9/11 society, people getting shot up in the streets everywhere.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the hospital maybe have more security? And wasn't that the most empty hospital you've ever seen in your life?
No, it was. I mean, but think of how much all the extras on the campus cost. That's where they spent their money.
Well, they could have had some extras in the hospital, and
the
one nurse, and it was like probably 8:00 at night. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying some of the logical. See, I keep getting illogical with me.
No, it was 9:40 at night.
Oh, okay. But
come on, didn't you know that?
But have you ever been in a hospital at 9:40 at night, even a small town?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. No, but these are your problems with it?
Just, I guess, believability is I guess I could suspend disbelief to a point is what I'm trying to say. I'm like, if I'm starting to think about how empty the hospital is, I'm kind of losing interest in the action. That's what I'm trying to say.
The 5-minute wrap up.
Yes, let's do it.
It's an excellent film to see. I liked it. I
think excellence a little bit.
No, okay. Well, it was a good enough.
It was better than Friend Request. I'll tell you that.
It was better than Friend Request,
which we liked.
Absolutely, we liked Friend Request. So it was a step up. I thought that it brought a certain amount of humor. It brought a couple of although not extremely new patterns, but it wasn't a shot-by-shot remake of Groundhog's Day,
no,
which is a shot-by-shot
relief,
which by itself is a shot-by-shot remake of Groundhog's Day.
You're right, it was.
Yeah, not bad. Huh? Hey, we're in a circle. Anyway, back to our 5 minutes. I would highly recommend it.
I would recommend it, but I wouldn't say I'd highly recommend it. That's a little pushing it too far.
Okay,
I would highly recommend Blade Runner. I would absolutely highly recommend Blade Runner.
Absolutely,
but
we're both going to highly recommend Blade Runner.
I would recommend this one.
But we should have like a bow down.
Yes.
Here, let's have a moment of silence for Blade Runner.
I'm gonna have to take out the sound of that freezer. so it doesn't make that noise. I'll make it sound really quiet, so it'll be very effective. Again, I'm Kurt Thomas along with Miq Strawn. Thank you for joining us on Dream Warrior Review. We welcome your feedback, and if you have any questions or burning desires or just ideas for our show, we welcome email at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com. Our music was by Bloodgod, and please do join us next time on Dream Warrior Review.